brother up, and that was just so saddening, just to watch this happen in front of me. And I got the call, that he was in hospice, and they put him on hospice. And so just watching the clock tick and stuff, but he could no longer speak, but he was able to FaceTime. And so he was conscious that I was there and everything, like on the phone. And the biggest thing that he said to me that stuck out, he said, "Sis, I want to live, I don't want to die." And so I was just like, "Bro, I want you to live too." And just even throughout that whole duration, I just saw how God kept him. And when he said that, I was just like disheartened. And then when the doctor, I think that was like a couple of months before they told him that it was getting worse. But then he came back later on, like 2 months later. He said, "Sis," he said, "even though I don't want to die," he said, "I'm going to be happy whatever way God chooses to heal me." He said, "Whether he heals me on this earth or whether he heals me in heaven, that
Wow.
I'm going to be healed and I'm going to be okay, and I'm fine with that." God allowed me to live a lifetime in 7 months because he was able to spend time with his children. He found out a son that he didn't know anything about, and he was able to take up time investing in both of their lives. But stuff took a turn, and then he passed on, and he didn't have any type of insurance, but God blessed him with a good wife and family members. And I watched my sister-in-law. She sold their car. They were at like the service passed by the interstate, trying to raise money, going through family, the whole entire family, fish fries, and just working out deals and wills. It was just it was rough to go through. It was a shame because some family members that were supposed to be Christians in Christ, told other family members, "Well, he's not a Christian. He ain't even been to church. Don't donate money. Don't do this. Don't do that." And when I heard that family members were literally doing that, I had to just give it up to God because the spirit just went through me. I said, "How hypocritical can you be? God can forgive you, but you're saying that he can't forgive my brother. You don't know where he came from. You don't know his journey. You don't know the lives that he's touched along the way." And the Lord worked it out where the funeral home was able to give our family a discount because the average funeral cost is going to be at least 10,000 if you're trying to do a traditional burial.
Right.
And my the same cousin-in-law that my brother helped through her depression, he go over there every day because she had lost a baby, and she just lost the will to live. She had other kids, but she just couldn't get out the bed. And then my brother said, he said, "Cuz," he said, "you got all these beautiful babies around you, and you can't even get out the bed and play with them." So he would go over there, work out with her. She started losing the weight, and then eventually she got the gastric surgery. But it was through her knowing the funeral home owner in Detroit, and they sliced the price of the funeral in half so that it was
Wow.
affordable. And you just never know who God can use.
Right.
And he just took care of my brother in a miraculous way. And I was so thankful too. Like even right now for my sister-in-law, I don't care if she marries somebody else or anything. That's still my sister-in-law. You stood by my brother's side. You were in the dirt with him. All odds was stacked up against him, and you were right there no matter
Wow.
what, and you did what you had to do and beyond to make sure that he had a home going. And so that made me more passionate and adamant to make for certain that people I know have coverage, because it's going to hit us all, just like we have to have health coverage. We got to have auto insurance. We don't want to have to pay for those things, but those are things that we're going to need at some point in time. And I'll just be brief on this other, and it's my dad. My dad, he ended up being diagnosed with cancer, and he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and so he had been in remission for like 12 years. But when my brother, everything came upon my brother, that just kind of just tore my dad up. He couldn't even go to the funeral. But one thing my dad did, my dad had life insurance. And when I came down there for the funeral for my brother, my dad actually increased his policy. He got a letter in the mail where they said you can increase it up to 20,000 more. So that's what my dad did. He said, I don't want you guys to struggle and suffer when it's my time to go. I want to leave a little legacy behind, not just enough to just bury me, but you guys are going to have time off from work. You guys are going to have to be able to function. And so we were able to grieve in peace with my dad. We were missing him, but it was more of a celebration up because that was the first death claim that I had to do was on my father. So that was hard, but I can now say that I know how people feel in that aspect because that was just a lot. That was my world. My dad was my everything. But there's a big difference in having coverage and not having coverage.
So, to the average person that's out there listening today, and we all, as you said, are going to deal with death. It's going to hit home, our moms, our dads. Me, myself, I buried two of my children, and
Yes.
I didn't have insurance when they died. See, we don't think about getting insurance when they babies because you don't think they're going to die. Okay.
Mm-mm.
And when you go to the funeral home, when you don't have life insurance, they offer you a casket that looks like a little that styrofoam ice bucket that you buy at the store. And inside of it was a pink lining. And when my son died, there was a blue lining. But that's the first thing they offer you
Wow.
because they already know you as a black person don't have no insurance. And to me, that's so sad.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
the lease, and that was probably $300 for that. But I looked at that little ice box and I said, Lord, I'm not putting my daughter in this cooler. That's what it was,
Yeah.
cooler. And I
Yeah.
said, Lord, what it is that I got to do. And her casket, as little as it was still $2,900. 29.
Wow.
And then to turn around a year later and bury my son, same thing, $2,900.
Mm.
But what we fail to realize is we can go to Sam's. A lot of people don't realize you can go to Sam's and we do all this shopping at Sam's and stuff, but you can go right there and order a casket from Sam's. Sam's, see, what we don't realize is insurance companies order caskets from the casket store, all kind of places, and get good deals
Mm-hmm.
on caskets, but they don't
They
pass that
do.
same to you. So if they
No,
get the
they
casket
don't.
$1,900, well then they still charging you 49, 59. So they profiting so much. A lot of us in the
Yes.
wrong business. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people need to get in the funeral business, but I want to. If you was
Yes.
to get in the business, you need to be in a business that don't rob people. Because if I take all the money
Exactly.
out of the funeral and make you rich, then how are we gonna be able to take care of our families and take care of the house and the taxes and all
Exactly.
that happens because we done gave all the money to the funeral home. So
Exactly.
what is life insurance and what are the types of life insurances people can get?
Okay. Life insurance basically is a protection for your family, for you and your family. You can use it to actually build a legacy for your family, which means that you can set it up where you can have enough coverage where you can leave an inheritance behind to take care of your family, just like you're saying. Because if you were to pass, you still have children, you still have people that may depend on you. You may have a spouse, and those bills are still going to roll in whether or not they have your income to help. And you end up burdened more so than what you probably thought that you would be, because a lot of people, they're thinking, well, when I'm gone, I'm just gone. They'll figure it out, but that's not how it happens. A lot of people end up mortgaging the house or having to lose the house, or just having to move. and just being just put in the poorhouse when something just so simple just could have been done while their health was good. And there's two different types, main types of life insurance. One of them is a term policy. And just like it sounds, a term means that you have that policy in effect for a certain amount of years. They have 5-year terms, 10-year terms, 20, 30, 40-year terms, depending on your age that you are when you take out that policy. And a lot of times people will use term life insurance to get a whole lot of insurance for a less amount of money. And the thing about term insurance, you get a large face value. You could get $50,000, $100,000 policy for little to nothing. But the only thing about it is that you would probably at some time have to get like a whole life policy, something that's not going to expire, but it does not build cash value. And then you have a whole life policy, which does exactly what it says. It's going to last you your whole life.
Wow.
Most of the whole life policies are going to be in effect to your age 120. Should you outlive that policy, then they would actually return the full amount of premium that you paid in and actually the face value of that policy. Now, the good thing about whole life, let's say if you have that policy in effect for 2 years, it starts building cash value. So, in the event if you ever fell on hard times or you needed some assistance, you would be able to do a policy loan on that. So, there's a couple of different ways that you can go about it, but we're just here to make sure that you have coverage to suit what your needs are right then and there.
So
So
on
that's what we do. Hmm.
So on average, what is about the least you could pay for life insurance, and then the highest you pay for life insurance, like on a monthly basis? What are we, we buy tennis shoes that cost $400 every other month. So what can I'm just keeping it real.
Yep.
I can't bury nobody, so it's like we got to get on this because this is important. And I said we're gonna
It
bring you on
is.
every third Sunday of the month. But what is about the least you
Yes.
pay? And how much, like a $10,000 policy and this much, or some people say I want a $500,000 policy, or I want $100,000 policy, but that's where you're gonna leave a legacy. It's 50,000 or more
Oh
to
yeah.
handle what's gonna happen after. So what on average would you spend a month?
Okay. Life insurance, the way that they actually work out the premium is first of all, it's going to be based on your age, it's going to be based on your health, it's going to be based on your sex. Most policies, and if you're a smoker or a non-smoker. So those four factors, actually decide what that premium is going to be. But on average, I can give you a average amount for like a non-smoker or infant. Well, like an infant policy, you could get a policy on an infant for like a $10,000 policy, and you're paying no more than $5 a month.
Oh wow.
Um, Yes, and then there's other juvenile policies that are from age 0 to 12 and 0 to 17, where you can, that same amount, you can actually have $10,000 worth of coverage. Now, if you're, let's say, about in your 24-year range, um, that's really like a sweet spot for insurance because you can get, let's see, you can get a $50,000 policy for under $20 a month. So yeah, I'm so serious, and it's very affordable. Now, if you're like in our age range, like in our 40s, we could get term for around $30 a month.
Right.
But the thing is, it just depends on the amount of coverage that you're looking for, because with life insurance, we go ahead and go over your budget with you to make for certain that whatever it is that you're looking for, because a lot of times people can say, okay, well, I want a $50,000 policy, I want this, I want that, but we can go ahead and adjust that, the face value of that insurance to fit what your budget is. So let's say if you're like, well, I can't spend no more than $40 a month, I can't spend any more than $20 a month, then we can go ahead and get that policy premium amount down to where your budget is, and then it'll tell us how much coverage that will actually buy for you.
Oh wow. See, and that's what the average person to me, my
Mhm.
kids are infants, so I want to, deal with moms and have new babies to start off. First of all, get them christened. I like christenings, and then
Mhm.
you're giving them to God. Then get insurance on them. And so, as you have an infant policies, does the amount change? Like if they are once they become 10 and you got a $10,000 policy, then can you increase the insurance for your children as they get older?
Yes, you can actually start off with a larger policy, up to, some of them will automatically give you an option to go up to 25,000. And then you just made a very good point about women, that are pregnant. It's very important for women when they're pregnant to make sure that they do have life insurance and that they can have what's called a child rider on their policy. And then that way, their baby would be covered from the time that the baby was born, instead of like some infant policies, the baby has to live for 7 days or whatever they're outlined to have that coverage in effect. So there's like a few different ways to go about it. And then you've got some people, let's say if they have a house full of kids, well, they could get a policy and just add a term rider onto that policy, and those kids can stay on that policy until they're like age 18. Some of them, the policy rider will be in effect to their age 21. But that's a way for people to be able to insure their whole entire household,
Right.
and still not go broke, but you guys are actually covered. And then as money gets better, your position in life changes, you can go ahead and write personal policies. I know quite a few people that have written like whole life policies on their newborn children. And then they're like, okay, well, this can be a college fund, go towards a college fund. This can be a nest egg because it's going to mature and have all that cash value built up. So, and that's tax free way to be able to start your kids off in the right direction. So there's just a lot of different ways that you can use life insurance to help you and your family right now. And then they also have policies that have a living benefit. You know how many people end up with cancer or terminal illnesses, and they're like, well, I don't have any money, but there's a treatment that's out here that'll help me, but my insurance isn't going to cover it. Well,
Right.
they have an accelerated death benefit where sometimes you can have access to 25%, 75% of that full amount that insurance policy is worth. And then you can go ahead and use that in the way that you see fit. So there's a lot of different things, that you can do with life insurance where it can help you now and it can help you later.
Wow. And see, they don't teach you that in school. They ain't got
They
you in school,
don't.
mama, teaching you about how to have life insurance. And then if you're blessed enough to live to 18,
Mhm.
you got thousands of dollars sitting right there that you can pull on to go to school. You
Mhm.
can pull on to
Yep.
buy your first home. You got money
Yep.
sitting there, but we ain't
Yep.
told that. We are gonna
Nope.
tell it. And I'm about
Yes,
my
we
children.
are.
We gonna tell it, y'all. And so I'm here to tell you now. In the last 5 minutes of our show, because I mean this time just got away so fast. Now, one
It
thing I'm gonna
did.
let our know is that we're gonna bring her on every third Sunday. Every third Sunday, y'all, resurrection time. We bring in Miss Kamilla on. Amen. And if you have any questions
Okay.
about it, we're gonna ask people to send in questions because we're also gonna get her on our TV show. We're gonna videotape her and have an interview with her one day this week. And then we're going to bring her on next Wednesday at our TV show on Kingdom Purpose TV. So it's going to spread out on a whole nother level. Like we're thinking we got about 80,000 followers that are following our podcast and
Wow.
our show. And then over 40 million people view the station each month. So over at Kingdom Purpose TV. So one of the things I want to close with, Miss Kamilla, in our last 5 minutes is how long does it take if somebody's interested in getting insurance? How long does it take to do a policy?
Okay, well, the actual application, we can do an e-app. The application process normally takes maybe about 15 minutes to get everything punched in. Sometimes we're able to know immediately if there's an approval. And then sometimes if they have to do like a little more background information, it could just take a little bit longer for the underwriters to actually go through the medical history. And sometimes they may say, well, we need to have a physical done or something to that nature. But
Okay.
typically within a month max, it doesn't normally take that long. But if they had to do any type of background information, or if we needed to go with a different policy, but we can actually have you covered. Most of my policies are actually approved within like 2 weeks time, especially if you have like really good health.
Like me. Hey.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus.
Yes, you are.
Now, for some people that's looking get some insurance, how can they get in contact with you? And as I stated, we're going to be giving all this information in your links, a photo, all this stuff on our page today, and all this stuff will be out. And then we're going to be on our podcast show, anchor.fm, so they'll be able to rehear this again. And then we're going to bring on our show. So how can people connect with you that are listening right now and say, you know what, before I go buy another pair of Jordans, we're going to get us a life insurance policy, a whole life insurance policy. That way I can cover my shoes. Insurance where I can cover the shoes when I'm gone. Okay.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, they could actually reach me, reach me on my cell phone. And the name of our insurance company is called Kamilla, Trammell's Life and Legacy. And my phone number is 865-207-8190. Again, that's 865-207-8190. And if you wanted to reach me via email, you can reach me at Trammell's Life and Legacy, protect us at gmail.com.
Wow, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I got something today. What about you, Miss Cheryl?
I sure did.
And it blessed me to know that people are walking around here without no insurance. We got to get insurance. Even Miss Cheryl said, I don't have insurance. And
I really don't.
yeah, so we got to let it be known that in today's time, we need Yahweh. We need God in our life, but
Yes,
most
we
important,
do.
put aside the things that we're idling and start setting up your family for a legacy. And that is the whole purpose to why we do what we do. So, Miss Kamilla, tell everybody again who you are, how they get in contact with you as we close out. And we want to say thank you. And we look forward to forwarding more information. We're going to be doing some public service announcements. And some of them going to be funny. Some of them going to be sad, but we telling the truth.
Amen. Amen.
Anything,
That's
any
true.
last? Yes. Would you like to say something?
Yes.
That God loves you. And you are greatly blessed and highly favored because God don't make mistakes.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. And how you want to,
Amen.
once again, let them know how they can reach you.
Okay, that's Kamilla Trammell from Trammell's Life and Legacy. And that phone number is 865-207-8190. Again, that's 865-207-8190. And you can email us at Trammell's Life and Legacy at gmail.com. And we'll get right back in touch with you.
You got it, you guys. Well, y'all, this is Sherry LeBron coming live, and we're going to close out with a song called No, Do You Love Him? Do you love him, Cheryl?
I love him any day in the world or any drug in the world.
Thank you, ladies, for having me again. God bless you.
And I'm going to increase my policy.